JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Wednesday, December 3rd, 3:37 on this fine afternoon. Really quick rant. Actually don't have too much time here, so it's gonna be about 7 minutes usually. So 7 minutes, that probably means 10, 12 minutes. But talk quick about the marks. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P up about 0.4%. Small caps leading the charge up 1.88%. And it feels like risk on, right? Someone hit the risk on switch, and all the names that have been either beaten up or the names that have been high flyers are back in high fly mode. The nuclear names, you have the quantum names, uh, yeah, and some of the AI names. So uh, if you had said that the ADP report, so kind of, I wouldn't say the market's flying with blinders on, but with the government shutdown, all the government data either not coming out or coming out not as not timely or not coming out at all, it leaves the market to kind of folks to look for other signs of what's going on with the economy. And the ADP report, which kind of like the service private sector jobs report, came out again this morning. I don't know, third or fourth month in a row of like negative numbers. And this morning's was the worst since 2023. And it just adds more, uh, I guess, adds to the argument about the jobs scenario or jobs environment being reason for the Fed to continue to cut rates, which was the argument that Fed Chair Powell made back in August when he kind of set the stage for the Fed to start cutting rates. So to me, it was almost like that's kind of like good stuff, not good stuff in a way you don't want to see folks lose jobs and things like that. But if you want to see the Fed cut rates next week, you kind of want to see just a little bit of weakness there because all the other data continues to be strong. All the economic data are mostly strong. So yeah, that's really not that won't give ammo for the Fed to cut rates, right? So all right, so that was that this morning, and then you had that headline. Was it the Information or the Financial Times? One that came out report Microsoft is scaling back on investment in AI, whatever, I forget what was their software. Just some little headline that because there's not a lot going on, it creates this that, yeah, and there's already angst with AI, right? So you saw futures tumble. SPY was at 683 and change, and then in a flash was down to 679. Just goes to show how sensitive some of the how the sensitive the market could be with what's going on with AI, because it is. I mean, everywhere you turn, someone's calling it a bubble, and whatever. It's all differently explained. Whether it's the Oracle side, the debt, the was it OpenAI? They had a red flag moment, whatever. Just there's all these different things that come out every day, pointing to what should be an epic collapse in AI and maybe in the market, and that just hasn't really panned out. At some point, and there has been big pulls in some names. I mean, take a look at Oracle, the poster child for what's happened since September. But uh, just funny stuff. All right, so I don't want to go on a rant too much there, but talk about 679, 683 yesterday, then up to 686 today. I think I had it on watch. We got up to 684 and change, so a nice bounce off the lows. And again, so yeah, small caps leading the charge, yields are down, so all good stuff. Tomorrow, I'm trying to think what else. Just the weekly jobless claims tomorrow, and then yeah, then all eyes gonna be on the Fed meeting next week. So that's kind of the overall market. I'm trying to find the other chart here, which I don't have. All right, so just quick on the individual name. I don't have too much time. Got those RH lottos. I keep talking about these names and spaces that are gonna probably have a 6 to 8 week window of bouncing or rallying into the end of the year and then bouncing in 2026. I don't know if they're going to start now or they're going to start in 2026, but there's names that are down 50, 60% that probably shouldn't be down that much, and there's an opportunity. And I list a couple of names, and I'll talk about Deck in a second, but RH is another one of those names. And RH, the wind could blow, just a little extra miles per hour, and that will be up 7%. No news, no catalyst. That's the kind of name fun to be in the options when you're on the right side of the trade. So tried to find some decent spec lottos. I was watching. I'm like, 180s looked interesting. Then the 175s, but they were kind of pricey. And then the 170s were $1 with 2.5 days left to expiration. Wasn't looking to spend $1 on RH with no news or catalyst, right? So then it came down, and the 175s looked interesting on a risk reward basis, so I added those. I think it was 161, 162 when I got them, all the way up to 164.66. The calls got close to being a double, chopped around, pulled back into the afternoon, sitting here 162.69. The calls are back to kind of flat. I'll just continue to hold those into tomorrow. Not only the oversold scenario in regards to RH, but then you have the yields, right? And it's continues the 10 years flopping around here. Actually, is just dropping. So if that continues to melt, some of these names that I think benefit from a low rate environment. I mean, Pool's the other name. So anyways, that's RH. So I got those spec lottos. CAVA, the one that got away. I wouldn't even say the one that got away. I mean, I closed the last of calls for 200%, and then boom, off to the races. And those 53 strikes were up 10 bags at points this morning when it was 55.71. What are you going to do? I was actually looking to get some of the $60 strikes. I think they were 59.60 cents. But then I was like, I'm not going to chase. I don't want to just get it just as like a not I would say it's to risk FOMO, but so I sat on my hands. Of course, those are like 70, 80 cents now. I'll revisit at some point. I was actually looking, I'm like, should I go out the higher strikes at December 65s? We'll see if this follows me tomorrow. I talk about those gap fills, and funny enough, came right up to the earnings gap down, and that's where I found resistance today. So we'll tomorrow's another day. It doesn't make sense just to trade it just because I missed out on that last $2. So that's Kava. Deck, which I'm trying to get out my deck calls for 100%. It's like, I always use that analogy when you're watching a stock and deck rallies 4.5%, and you look, and the December 19 105s would be 80 cents right now. But since I'm in it, they're 60 cents or less than that. I just don't get how the premiums aren't moving up too much on that strike. I was on the fence to lock it some in to cover some costs, not for 100%. 17 minutes left to close. I might try that right before the end of the day, but take a look over. I talked about that 92.25 50-day moving average. Actually, it's 91.93 now. Over that here today. Maybe get some FOMO. Yeah, folks looking for some oversold names. They're starting to bounce. Align Technologies. Take a look at Align today. All the way up to 156 earlier. I was trading those lottos 142. Kicking myself for missing that. But the thing is, I don't want to be in too many lottos or bounce plays, and then the rug gets pulled out from the market, right? And then it won't matter about bounce plays. Everything will get destroyed. So can be selective, take profits on the way up like I've been doing, and go from there. So that's that's Deck. Serve Robotics. You had that robot news this morning with the administration. So all these robotic names, I mean, iRobot, which normally I would trade. It just, anyway, so nice move today. It was actually bouncing around in the morning. Then all of a sudden, it's like someone hit a button. And then from 12 o'clock on, it's been in rally mode all the way up to 11.65. If you had told me it was 11.6, if I was going to be able to get out of my December 12 strikes for close to 100% yesterday, I would have said, yeah, do it. So that's what I did today. And then sure enough, just kept going. You just don't know. I mean, it's huge short interest thing, swings all over the place. So I didn't want to lose the profits on those. Of course, the 12s, they're 45 by 50. So they're up 250%. What are you going to do? 150%. But I still have the January. So I still have the January strikes. Those are getting close to 100%. I still have some Marches, but obviously need a heck of a lot more for that. I was looking possibly to get some more strikes, but I'll be patient until tomorrow. The thing is, those December 12s were the 12th strikes, right? They weren't the December 19th. So maybe tomorrow I'll look for some 19th. If there's follow through, RH, Align. I'm trying to think of something. Pool, disappointing today. Disappointing. I mean, it's green. It was all the way in the 250s at the open. 251. I thought it was going to be run and gun mode. Sure enough, hits highs at 11 o'clock, and it's been melting ever since. Melting. I mean, it's down $3 from the highs, but I had an order to try and get my calls out for 100%. Didn't fill, and the rest is history. Still like that one for upside. Same with Biogen. I think that's it. I'm trying to think of some of the other, strategy and coins. Still watching these names run. Again, similar to Kava, right? I want to add some strikes, but same token, I have to keep my emotions in check, and some of the rationale in adding one would be for that FOMO element. So that's not a good bull case, not a good conviction strategy to get to a stock, the FOMO side of it. So I'll stay away from those. And I think that's it, folks. Oh, Reddit disappointing here today. And it's funny with Reddit, it's disappointing. It's flat, but with Reddit, because the volatility on the stock, it just kills premiums. But still looking for more strikes. I'll be patient. Still just have the last of those freebies with profits on the 235s. It makes no sense to just to add some more strikes today. And that's it. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.